Thank you very much, Corla. Despite the opposing this bill for reasons which I have outlined, and I would like to thank the Deputy Opposite for giving the House an opportunity to discuss this very important topic. And the Government fully agrees with the main objectives of Deputy McGrath's bill: the need to protect the most vulnerable in society, and in particular the elderly, of those whose limited capacity makes a target of exploitation. However, having reviewed the technical points raised in the bill, it is clear that much of what the bill aims to achieve by way of criminal offences is covered by existing criminal law, notably the Criminal Law Justice Theft and Fraud Offences Act 2001, and I encourage members opposite to read that. Many of the broader policy objectives of the bill have been incorporated into more recent changes in the law and policy since Deputy McGrath introduced the bill in November 2015. As I have noted, the Assisted Decision-Making Capacity Act in 2015 supports decision-making by adults and with capacity difficulties, irrespective of age, and there is significant ongoing work on operational measures and policies in the health sector which will come on stream over the next 12 months. And you may ask, what does the Assisted Decision-Making Capacity Bill do? And I would encourage members to look at this bill, to read this bill, to study this bill, because an awful lot of the issues that you have raised are actually covered in this piece of legislation. The Assisted Decision-Making Capacity Bill 2015 provides modern statutory framework to support decision-making by adults with capacity difficulties. The Act was signed into law on the 30th December 2015. The Act provides for the repeal of the Lunacy Regulation Ireland Act 1871 and the Marriage of Lunatics Act 1811. The current war of court system for adults will be phased out. The Act offers a continuation of options to support people in maximising their decision-making capacity. The Act provides for the setting up of a decision support service within the Mental Health Commission, which is under the aegis of the Minister for Health. Ms Anya Flynn was appointed Director of the Decision Support Service on the 2nd of October 2017. I would encourage you to meet her. Commencement of the substantive provisions of the Act, the repeal of the Lunacy Act, Ireland Act 1871, the Marriage Act Lunatics 1811 and the abolition of the ward of court system for adults are necessary for Ireland's compliance with the UN Convention on the Rights of the Person with Disabilities. And let me state that robust safeguards have been included in the Act to guard against exploitation of vulnerable adults and decision-making difficulties, and to ensure that persons appointed under the Act to support decision-making by a person with capacity difficulty abides by his or her responsibilities under the Act. And I just had some of the notes here that people have raised. Deputy Cullinan states that they go to committee state, but the errors are here already. So, like I've stated in my opening remarks, that the offences created in what the deputy is proposing are already exists in law, and some of the issues that I have already outlined. And I know some of the areas that I do think that that could be brought to the attention of the Minister for Health. And Dr. Harty raised some interesting points, but it's important. The important work of the safeguarding of the body, the health sector legislation on reporting is a matter for the Department of Health. But this bill approaches this form from a criminal law perspective and not from a Department of Health perspective. And I think the Minister for Health can reflect on the House's concerns of some of the issues that were raised by deputies opposite. I'm not saying that Deputy McGrath is very well-meaning in his bill, and I absolutely genuinely say that. But in my opening remarks, I stated that a huge amount of what is covered in the bill is already covered in other pieces of legislation, and it is regrettable that we're not accepting the bill put forward here this evening. I know it's unfortunate this bill does go back. It was tabled before the House a while back. A huge amount of change and legislation has been enacted through this House since then. But there are the reasons I've set out to why we are not supporting the Deputy's bill.